Chapter 11. Not One of Us. On the fateful night, Chomper left the secret caverns, thinking a large amount of water would fill his empty stomach. By the pool he stood, gazing down to his reflection. It was unrecognizable. He was skinny, ribs slightly showing, neck lean and face gaunt. In that moment, he knew if he stayed in the valley, he wouldn't make it past another cold time, starved to the point where he wouldn't be able to move, not wanting to be a burden to the gang, but mostly to Ruby. Leaving was for the best. Thus he sighed, glad that Ruby would be by his side, that he wouldn't be alone. Still, he wasn't strong, a fighter, might not be able to protect her from the Sharptooth. His thoughts were interrupted when he caught a scent on the wind, knowing he wasn't alone. Behind a collection of brush, Hip, Nod, and Mutt gathered, going to see if Chomper was still in the cave. When they spotted him taking a drink, Hip gestured for the pair to follow him.
Right, let's do this. Now?
Yes, now!
So I wouldn't have time to get a snack?
Slapping his hand to his forehead, Hip sighed.
Idiots! I'm surrounded by them.
I'll wait here for the signal, Nod added, smiling to their leader.
Good. Come on, Mutt.
Grabbing Mutt's arm, Hip went to Chomper and laughed, seeing him rise to his full height.
Well, if it isn't the monster.
Pausing, Hip studied Chomper, wondering what Ruby saw in the oddly shaped predator.
I'd say it'd be hard to see you go tomorrow, but I'd be lying.
I'm certain you're happy about it.
So this is goodbye, I guess.
I don't understand, Hip. We could have been friends. We helped save those eggs, and I thought...
You thought wrong. Friends, don't make me laugh. I regret assisting you. I regret a lot of things.
Walking closer, Hip smiled.
So, about Ruby. Do you think you can protect her?
Chomper didn't respond, keeping his eyes on Hip. Before he knew it, Mutt crashed into him, sending him to the earth. Mutt and Hip pinned him down, Chomper unable to break away. The two laughed, Hip glaring down into Chomper's wide eyes.
You can't even beat us. How do you hope to protect her?
Ruby was usually the one saving me.
Wow, how lame. A girl having to save you.
Hip then chuckled. She should stay here in the valley, where she'll be safe, and with me. This got Chomper's attention. If you're out of the valley, that will free her up. I think I'll be more than willing to be the one she hugs.
Don't talk about Ruby like she's an object. She's an amazing girl. She's definitely smarter than you.
She's kind, selfless, and everything that's good.
I dare say she's the greatest among you.
Chomper said, keeping himself calm.
Wow, I think he likes her, Hip, as more than a friend, Mutt said.
I think you're right. But let's be real here. You think she'd ever be with a monster like you, when she has a handsome hunk like me? Hip grabbed Chomper's chin, forcing him to meet his gaze. Unlike you, I won't waste being alone with her. The things I'd do to her, hold her, kiss her.
You're disgusting.
No, I'm just not stupid or ignorant like you. Besides, what are you going to do? Stop me? Standing back, Hip took a few steps in the direction of the caverns. Why, I think I'll go pay her a visit right now. Take her by surprise. In a flash, Chomper shoved Mutt back and charged at Hip, tackling him to the earth. Stay away from her! It took Hip back, but he smiled and threw a fist across Chomper's muzzle. If you don't want me to harm her, you'll have to fight back! Stop me! I don't want to hurt you, Hip. Recoiling from the blow, Chomper felt another, being pinned under Hip.
Then I'll have to hurt you,
Hip shouted, throwing another hit. Once I'm done with you, I'll claim my prize. Get Ruby. Chomper suddenly grabbed Hip's fist, keeping it back and pushing him away. Hip was actually impressed by how strong Chomper became, seeing Nod dash from his hiding spot. The pair of males shoved one another back and forth, Chomper growling and giving a mighty heave, sending Hip to the ground. Before Hip could rise, Chomper set his foot on Hip's chest, gazing down to him. As for Nod, he ran to get help, passing the gang. Sarah lay in the grass, Littlefoot's body surrounding her. Ducky lay by her pond, Petrie atop her back, his wings covering her like a blanket. Spike was there too, snoring loudly. Nod smiled to himself and quietly woke some for help, leading them back to where Hip, Mutt, and Chomper were. It worked out perfectly, for when they arrived, all saw Chomper had Hip down, standing menacingly over his trapped form. The tussle clearly caught the attention of the Valley members, thinking Chomper was going to devour Hip. It was exactly what Hip hoped for. Yelling, "He tried to attack Mutt and I out of spite!" The onlookers whispered. Those willing to help went forward. Chomper gasped, realizing he'd been led on. "You tricked me, and you were dumb enough to believe it," Hip said softly, feeling Chomper step back. Hip pointed towards Chomper. "We need to rid the valley of that beast once and for all. There is no one to stop us. Come on!" Leading the charge, they began to sing. Chomper gasped and looked to them with shock, knowing there was no way he'd be able to talk himself out of the situation. When he saw Hip in front, he realized he was in trouble. Deception, disgrace, evil as plain as the teeth in his grin. Deception and outrage, disgrace, for shame. He asked for trouble the moment he came. Deception and outrage, disgrace, for shame. You know these evil as plain as the teeth in his grin. Just leave us alone, outrage, disgrace, for shame. Try to go back he with you for trouble the moment he came. Born in grief, raised in hate, helpless to defy his fate. Let him run, let him live, but do not forget what we cannot forgive. And he is not one of us. He has never been one of us. He is not part of us. No, no, no. Someone once lied to us. Now we're not so blind, for we knew he'd do what he's done, and we'll know that he'll never be one of us. One of us. Deception, disgrace, deception. Large and small plant eaters came at Chomper, shouting, throwing stones or sticks at him. Chomper refused to hurt them, thinking it'd only prove Hip's point about him being a monster. They were desperate to get rid of him, and he was surprised they waited so long to attack him. Then again, the aging adults would have left him stay without any trouble, but they weren't there. Neither were his friends. Hip planned a coordinated attack, one where Chomper would be on his own, defenseless, without Ruby. Avoiding a set of sharp horns, Chomper scrambled for his life, leaping over a spiked or clubbed tail. Hip waited and knew he made the right choice, that it was for the best the Sharptooth left as soon as he was banished. The mob managed to drive Chomper to the wall, where he had to either leave or face their wrath. Of course, any in that situation would choose to escape rather than being killed. Chomper scrambling up the wall. Rocks clattered under Chomper's weight, climbing quickly and hearing the crowd below boo and yell for him to scram. Once away from them, he entered the mysterious beyond, glancing back one last time, thinking of only one at the moment, of Ruby. He knew she'd be devastated, angry that he left without her. But there was no going back, that he'd risk putting her in danger too. Head lowered, Chomper left the valley and never looked back.